What's up friends, Dr.Victor here, I'm a diabetes doctor, and today we will be ranking all of the diets on the planet. This is of course my subjective view because everyone thinks of their diet of being different and being their favorite. Everyone is different, what might work for someone might not work for you or whatever, so let's jump right in. So we have a lot of diets here. I'm going to be ranking them by their overall health, their sustainability, so maintenance long term, and their ability to make you lose weight. So this is just gonna be a fun list, so don't get too upset if your diet is not godlike, because everyone is different and
that's my opinion!
Whatever, if you like a diet and it works for you and you can maintain it long term, that's the most important thing basically, okay? First on our list, the carnivore diet. So basically a diet in which you only eat meat products. No vegetables usually, or you can add some spices. People do add spices. I tried the carnivore diet. It works really well for weight loss because you're eating high protein, increased thermogenesis because of the protein. It's really satiating. Problem is you're gonna be lacking some nutrients, no fiber. Yeah, I know some people don't care about fiber, but there are a lot of studies that show that it helps with healthy gut flora and microflora diversity. I personally do like vegetables as a side dish, not by themselves. I wouldn't like to eat long-term carnivore because I would get bored at a certain point. So the problems I see with this diet is long-term sustainability. Also, it's kind of expensive because meat products are kind of more expensive than basic, potatoes or beans or whatever. So that also could be a hindrance. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty okay. And no fiber, again. Now, on the complete opposite spectrum, we have the fruitarian diet. So eating only fruits. So not vegan, vegetarian, but even more stricter than that, fruits. Only fruits. Now, this I think is kind of bad because you're going to be lacking a lot of nutrients, especially minerals, B vitamins. If you are on a fruitarian diet, I also made a video a couple of weeks ago. Please add avocados because at least you're gonna get more magnesium, minerals, and more nutrients from this. Also, I don't find fruit that satiating. You're gonna eat it and then an hour, 2 hours later, your stomach is gonna growl and you wanna eat more. So it's not that satiating, not that much protein. So you're gonna be protein deficient, fat deficient. But indeed, you're gonna have a lot of fiber and you're gonna surely meet your fiber requirements per day. If you're gonna lose weight, it's a big chance that you're also gonna lose from your muscle mass because you don't have that much protein. So the muscle sparing effect of protein. And I don't know how sustainable it is to eat only fruits throughout your life. And also there's an increased chance that you're gonna lose weight, a lot of weight on this diet because everything is raw. I wouldn't call it cancerous because it's still fruit, it's healthy. I don't know, in between D and E, Let's call it D because they're fruits. By the way, please give me your take. What do you think? Fruitarian? It surely is not cancerous. Come on. I think it's a D. Come on. Now, speaking of meats and fruitarians, raw meat diet. So same as carnivore, still eating animal products, only animal products, but not cooked. So uncooked. Basically the same things as carnivore, the same benefits, the same negative points, no fiber, certain minerals maybe you're gonna lack or certain nutrients. Good for muscle mass. You're gonna lose even more weight on raw meat diet rather than carnivore because nothing is cooked and your body's gonna use up even more energy processing that food, so you're gonna be burning even more calories, so it's really good for fat loss. But the biggest problem I have with the raw meat diet, and I already made a video a couple of months ago if you wanna watch it, on guys that eat only raw meat, is the risk of infections, of foodborne infections. This is the biggest risk with eating raw eggs, raw meat. The risk of, salmonella, E. coli. Why do you need to put yourself at that risk to, just eat raw meat? I'm gonna put it on E because it's not gonna be that often when you get the food infection, the food illness, but you just need once in a month to get it, and it's gonna suck because you can even die from certain infections. The vegetarian diet, okay? This is a diet that no basically animal products allowed. You can, but many people eat eggs and dairy. So this is a pretty complete diet. You're gonna get almost everything you need from it. Also, because of the eggs and dairy, you're gonna get sufficient amounts of B12 and fats, protein, depending on how much of those products you eat. So I think it's overall a healthy diet. It's been shown in studies to have really good effects on cardiovascular health and cardiovascular risk. High in fiber, especially if you eat the unprocessed variants of foods, because there are also a lot of unhealthy processed vegetarian or vegan foods, so you can go like wrong with that. I think objectively vegetarian would be A, but for me, because I really do like meat products, I think it's a B. I can see people eating this type of diet long term, especially if they like it, and it's a healthy diet. What do you think? The vegetarian diet, is it cancerous for you? Do you hate it, or is it godlike? Going on to the DASH diet, which is not a special ability in a game to dash, no. It stands for the Dietary Intervention Against Hypertension, basically. So this diet is godlike for hypertension, because this was the exact reason why it was created. It's lower in salt, healthy foods, usually low fat, a lot of fruits, vegetables, healthy grains, cereals, unprocessed cereals, unprocessed food. So it's a really healthy diet, especially so if you have hypertension in mind or you're hypertensive. This is godlike tier. For me, I think it's A tier, because yeah, it's really healthy. It promotes unprocessed foods. The only thing I would be a bit concerned about is to get your daily protein requirements on this diet. I'm really thinking if vegetarian would be an A tier actually. Moving on, the very low calorie diet. Now, I don't know if you heard about this diet, but it's a diet in which you're gonna eat under 800 calories per day, leading to severe weight loss. Usually doctors recommend this diet, or clinicians, when someone has to lose weight fast, like they are up for a surgery in several weeks or months, and they can't even go on the operating table on the CT scan because they're too obese, and they need to lose weight fast. Now, yeah, it's really good in this context, in certain situations, but it's not sustainable long term. Yeah, you're gonna lose a lot of weight. There's gonna be an increased chance that all of the weight lost is gonna come back, and even worse, because they lost a lot of weight, many times a lot of muscle, so their metabolic rate is gonna plummet. So I think I'm gonna put it in C tier, because in certain conditions it can save the person's life, and it should be even lower than C tier, but let's maybe even D tier. D tier, actually, because it's not sustainable, and if it's not sustainable long term, you're gonna end the diet, and then what? What are you gonna do? You're gonna eat like before, and you're gonna get fat again, so no. Next one on our list is fasting, but not just any type of fasting, intermittent fasting or whatever. This is prolonged fasting, which usually means more than 48, 72 hours of continuous fasting. Now, I think fasting is healthy. It works really well for a lot of people, but prolonged fasting is not for anyone. It can lead to nausea, problems with sleeping, insomnia, lack of energy. So I don't think it's for everyone. It's not that sustainable, because especially socially, to not eat 2-3 days. That's why I'm putting it in C tier. Vegan diets. So not vegetarian, but vegan, in which the same as vegetarian, but this time you're not gonna be eating any animal products. So no dairy, no eggs, and I think not even honey, because it's made by bees, and bees are an animal. Now, I don't really recommend the vegan diet, because there's an increased chance that you're gonna be protein deficient if you don't eat certain foods in this group higher in protein, like beans, lentils, all that good stuff, tofu. You're also gonna be at an increased risk of certain deficiencies. Fat, there's not gonna be that much fat in this diet. Also B12, because you're not eating animal products. It is a healthy diet, high in fiber, usually unprocessed. Again, it depends. You can eat a whole lot of crap, horrible processed vegan products. It could be sustainable long term, you can eat this way, but just be careful about your protein intake. So for me, it's a C tier. What do you think about the vegan diet? Where would you place it? Now, speaking of plants, fruits, vegetables, juice diet. So eating all of your calories in juice form. This is kind of stupid, because you're not gonna get that much fiber, you're not gonna become that satiated on this diet, You're gonna also lose certain nutrients in the bulk of the fruit or vegetable that you're gonna lose through the process of juicing. I don't think you should drink your calories. I also think there are benefits of chewing. It leads to healthy teeth and a healthy, basically, oral cavity function and health. If you're drinking all of your calories, and especially if it's a lot of fruit juice, not combined with vegetable juice, it's also higher in calories, not as satiating, so it's an increased chance that you're gonna gain weight, gain fat, especially if it's really high sugary fruits. For me, the juice diet is a D. Next up on our list, the DISSOCIATE, or the food group diet. Each day of the week, usually you're gonna combine different food groups. Like one day you're gonna eat only dairy, one day you're gonna eat only fruits, one day only vegetables, whatever, or combine eggs with vegetables or fish with vegetables. So no more usually than 2 food groups per day. This is pretty idiotic, again, because there is no benefit in consuming only 1 food group per day or 2 food groups, or if you eat too many food types per day to have some horrible adverse effects or not being healthy for the digestive tract, whatever. The food group diet is kind of pointless. I mean, if you enjoy eating 1 or 2 food groups per day and you like it, that's good, but I think it's kind of crap, honestly. Up on our list, fasting, which I really like fasting because it's free. Everyone can pretty much do it. You can start off slow and get into the groove of fasting. Pretty much anyone can add fasting to their schedule. I mean, it depends on the person. Some people do like to eat like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a day. But for people that don't have that much time, because you're gonna actually gain more time throughout your day because you're not gonna be cleaning and preparing food that often with a fasting protocol, you can lose more muscle mass if you're not careful by how you approach it. And there are certain specific individuals that shouldn't fast. For example, those that have food eating disorders or food addictions, because these can make them even worse. So those who have anorexia, bulimia, that's why I'm not gonna put it godlike, but fasting, intermittent fasting, 2 days a week fasting, whatever, alternate day fasting, I think it's a really good option to lose weight, and if done properly, it's A tier for me. Next up on our list, speaking of fasting, this is dry fasting, not consuming even water on this protocol. This is pretty cancerous because if you're not even drinking water, you're at an increased chance of adverse effects, because your body, most of it is water. Your brain also water, most of it. So it's not that smart to deprive yourself of the one thing that helps your body function properly, and all cells need water. Why? What's the point of not drinking? Okay, you want to lose weight, you want to rebalance your chakras and whatever, okay, but why do you need to stop drinking water? What's the harm in drinking water? Like, what are you gonna achieve more by choosing not to drink water? Are you a breatharian? You know, the people that live off of air? I made a video on that if you want to see it. So I think for me this is cancerous because there are adverse health risks and no benefits basically. Another beautiful diet which I absolutely love, the Twinkie diet. So this diet, you can eat only Twinkies and still lose weight. Come on, there's gotta be godlike here, right? No, I'm joking. This is a cancerous diet, of course, because yeah, in theory you can lose weight if you're eating like under your caloric maintenance, but how sustainable is it long term? Not that sustainable. You're gonna wanna eat other type of foods, I guess. Can you eat more than 7 days of only Twinkies in your life? I don't think so. It's a highly processed food, lacking a lot of vitamins and nutrients, no fiber, protein not that much, I think. So it's pretty horrible, right?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Now, meal replacement diets. So these are diets that are really good on the go. You can just unwrap them and eat them at your choice. But it's still kind of processed. It depends on the bar or the shake, whatever you're choosing. And it's a processed food. So, I mean, for flexibility, I would give it a C. But overall, it's a D. It's not healthy and it's not sustainable eating meal replacements every day throughout your life. You know, going to a restaurant and no steak and veggies for me. I'll have my meal replacement bar for today. Next up on our list is I, Italian Dr.Victor. Next up on our list is South Beach diet. Yes, sort of low carb-ish, unprocessed foods, high in fiber, high in vegetables. So I think this is a pretty healthy diet because it's a moderate level of protein. It's usually they focus on a lot of unprocessed foods as possible. High veggies, and it's also sustainable long term. I would personally put it on A or B tier. Next up on our list, if it fits your macros, or also called flexible dieting, or basically if it's in your caloric target for weight loss, you're gonna eat it. Some people only do it with processed foods, McDonald's, KFC, sodas and all that crap. 18,000 calories you can eat like Big Mac, soda, fries, and like 2 Snicker bars, and that's it. But if you feel happy on it and you can lose weight, okay, but still it's unhealthy and processed and not that much satiety. Also, you can do it like with healthy foods, and satiating foods. Like you can do a healthy shake, like ice cream shake with protein. That's very filling. Oatmeal with whatever fruits, whatever you like. You can have a lot of flexibility here, and that's amazing. Air popped popcorn, that's like 200 calories for a big bowl of popcorn. I especially focus on highly satiating foods, lower in calories, that I also like, and also if I want I can add like a protein bar or something that I crave. So for me this is a godlike tier, and especially if you do it like with healthy foods, unprocessed, and you tailor it for yourself and your liking. What's not to love? I think it's godlike. Like if you really want to eat that cheeseburger at a certain point in your life or whatever, you can eat it. Like there's no forbidden or like cheat meals. You can basically eat whatever you like. Next up on our list, the snake diet. So if you're a Harry Potter fan and you're a Slytherin fan, this diet is for you. So if you're a Slytherin fan, this is godlike. But I'm not a Slytherin fan, so it's not godlike for me. So the snake diet is a really weird diet that it's kind of like fasting, because there are periods in which you don't eat, like at least 1-2 days of not eating. There are also a lot of convoluted rules to this diet, like you only have 1 to 2 hours per day of eating and a 48 hours break in between these eating sessions, so you have to eat a lot of food, a big quantity of food, so like a snake does, because that is the eating pattern of a snake. It eats a lot and then just sits around for days. Because also you have to eat a certain snake juice, water, potassium, sodium, bicarbonate, sodium, and magnesium. It's too many rules and it's not sustainable long term, I think. I mean, I've seen people do it and they got results. Good for them if it works for you, but I don't think you're gonna eat this type of way, this diet, throughout the whole of your life. Next up on our list, the Atkins diet. So a high protein, low carb diet. Well, this is a good diet for muscle maintenance while losing fat, because you're gonna have a lot of protein and it's gonna have a muscle sparing effect. It's really satiating because these are high protein foods. I don't think it's that sustainable because you can't eat higher quantity carb sources. A lot of people had the results on it, but also they after they lost weight, they put back almost all the weight because it's not sustainable long term. So I think it's a C tier. Next up on our list, Herbalife. I also made a video about Herbalife a couple of months ago about what I think of this way of eating. You can watch it if you wish. Basically, I don't think it's healthy to get your calories from shakes. I also don't agree with getting your calories in drink form. It's not that satiating. You're gonna want to eat more. It's not sustainable long term to only eat shakes. What happens if you get off of the shakes? You're gonna most likely get all of the weight back. So I don't think it's sustainable. It's also pretty expensive to drink only Herbalife shakes. I could put it to E. Next, the paleo diet. So this is a lower carb diet. Basically, the rules are you're not gonna eat anything that your ancestors couldn't get and couldn't eat. It's good that it's an unprocessed diet, so no processed, confectionery, modern foods. Because those weren't present, of course, 10,000 years ago, and also nothing agricultural based, so cereals and things like that. So before the agricultural revolution, sweet potatoes only for some reason. They don't like white potatoes. It's high in protein, so it's gonna have a good effect on muscle mass. You're gonna have most likely good results with fat loss on this diet. I think it's pretty sustainable long term. Unprocessed foods, I think it's a B tier. Come on, what do you think? Next up on the list, the blood type diet. So this is especially good for vampires. If you're a vampire, the blood type diet is really good for you, because when you're sucking the blood out of a person, you need to suck the blood only of your own blood type, because otherwise it's not gonna gel well with your blood cells, But if you're not a vampire, this diet is pretty horrible and it's cancerous. Jokes aside, there's no studies backing up the claim that if you're a certain blood type, you can only eat certain foods, or certain foods are going to be bad for blood type. Maybe in time we're going to learn that actually there is some proof behind combining, blood types with foods. But for now, yeah, I think it's cancerous. Next up on our list, another beautiful diet, the Alkaline diet, or the pH diet. This again is a pretty cancerous diet in my opinion, because it has no proof and no backing. If it were that important to balance out your pH levels and food to have an actual effect on your blood pH or your body pH, but it doesn't, because the body has really good mechanisms with acidity in your digestive tract, with the kidney that is able to urinate the excess acid or bases, so the too much alkalinity in your blood. And if this were the truth and your modern diet would be overly acidic, then just pump yourself up with sodium bicarbonate, or that has a pH of 8 or 9, or with lye that has a pH of 14. So you're gonna be extremely alkaline with lye. But I don't recommend you drinking lye, by the way, as a medical disclaimer, so no. Low fat diet. So eating a diet lower in fat. Some people like this type of diet, eating lower amounts of fat. Fat is higher in calories, so it's gonna bring up more calories throughout your diet. So if you eat lower in fat, it does have a good effect on weight loss, because you're getting rid of those excess calories. This diet is pretty sustainable in the long term. It is pretty healthy. It is linked with good effects on weight loss, on cardiovascular risk, lipidic profiles, so cholesterol. Personally, for me, I don't enjoy eating that much low-fat diet. And there is always the danger of eating so-called low-fat foods and products that are absolutely cancerous for you and high in sugar. But I don't think it's that sustainable, at least for me. And that's why I'm gonna put it in B tier. Next up on our list, the Whole30 diet. I don't know if you heard about this diet, but you have to eat 30 wholes with this diet. No, I'm joking. This type of diet is basically unprocessed foods. Overall, these are really healthy foods. You can pretty much eat a wide variety of foods. But what I don't like about this diet is, if you read it up on their official website, they have a lot of convoluted and complicated rules. Also a lot of rules about how you introduce these foods and when you can eat them again. It's too many complicated rules, and I don't think it offers too much flexibility. I mean, what's not to love about a diet that promotes as unprocessed foods as possible and lower in ingredients as possible? That's a really good diet, but I don't like about this diet that they have so many rules and basically reduced flexibility because of this. So no, this is a B tier for me. Keto diet. For me, I made a lot of videos about keto. It's a really healthy diet because of the adaptations that go on throughout your body when your body is being fueled by ketone bodies. So they have a lot of healthy effects on longevity, it would seem. We don't know for sure if it's the effect of ketone bodies by themselves or because of the weight loss that occurs, because weight loss also gives you those beneficial effects. The only thing I would say with it is sustainability is the problem with it. Like, Are you not gonna eat long term for the rest of your life any bread, pasta, pizzas, hamburgers, sweets? Nothing? I mean, it's pretty hard. So it's a B tier for me. Because a big problem with it is if you're gonna just once want to cheat and like eat a higher carb meal, it's gonna kick you out of ketosis, and then all the beneficial effects for the next days are gonna basically go away. You have to adapt again to the diet, and also the muscle sparing effect of the ketones is gonna go away because you're not gonna be in ketosis anymore. So there's an increased chance of muscle loss if you keep yo-yoing in and out of ketosis. Next up, the Mediterranean diet. Very often that's eaten around the Mediterranean area, Italy, Greece. It's one of the most healthiest diets on the planet, and it's also pretty sustainable long term. It's usually slightly lower in meats, red meats, higher in fish, a lot of vegetables, a lot of healthy carbs usually, a lot of olive oil, but lower in certain fat groups like saturated fat. It's one of the most studied and beneficial diets, if not the most, for cardiovascular risk. It's also pretty sustainable. It can lead to good weight loss. The only thing I would be careful about is maybe the protein intake. So getting sufficient amounts of protein to become satiated and to keep your muscle mass while losing weight. And finally, the blue zone diet. It's the diet in which you only are gonna eat blue foods, which is godlike. Yeah, no, I'm joking. It's the diet that blue zone populations eat, and these are the populations that live the longest. Like there are some populations around Japan, Asia, the Mediterranean area, and also around the American coasts. It's a moderate protein diet, usually lower in fats, a lot of vegetables, usually unprocessed foods. So it's a pretty healthy diet. But it's not, let's say, that flexible because it let's say, excludes certain type of foods. People that follow this diet live a whole lot. So what's not to love about that? Living a long and healthy life. If you like to eat this way and if it's sustainable for you, I think this is an A tier diet. What do you think? Do you agree with this list? Please write it in the comments. What diet do you think should be higher, and which diet do you think should be more cancerous on this list? Okay, please let me know. I'm curious to see what you think about the most godlike and the most cancerous diets. And by the way, for anyone that claims that one certain diet is 100% the most healthiest on the planet and the best, that person is an idiot, because everyone is different and we don't know everything related to nutrition and health right now. A lot of new things come up every year. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe found it interesting, fun, and learned about some new diets that you didn't know existed. And if you did, please leave a like, share, subscribe, because it helps growing the channel, and it also lets me know that you enjoy this type of content and that I should make more of this type. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see each other next time. Salut!